single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hello everyone, welcome to Visible Change. I'm Neo Mukori. I'm here to talk to Vivienne.M about her life story, her career, as well as her future plans. The aim of this interview is to basically encourage the disadvantaged communities, just let them know that it is possible and it's not the end of the world, and that you just need to have the mind and the will for it, and then you can just fly. Vivienne, welcome to Visible Change TV.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure. I'm actually quite excited about this.
I'm excited to talk to you.
I think we can actually get into it and just see what we can give the people.
Okay. Please take me through your life story.
Yeah, so life story. Professionally, personally. So I am a girl from the township. I come from the township of Mamelodi. Shout out.
Yeah.
And I just believe that is basically the place that has shaped me to become the person that I am. And most people would look at me and be like, Mamelodi, yes, I am from Mamelodi, guys. You can see
Come on.
Yeah. And I then actually went to a boarding school when I was 6 years old. I believe that's also another place that has shaped me to become a very independent person. I became independent at a very, very young age. Thereafter, I moved back home, started my high school. I was fortunate enough to actually have received a scholarship, that's what you want to call it, to get through my high school. And I mean, yes. Yes.
Wow.
So I mean, it is possible. I think once you become determined and know exactly where you want to go, so many possibilities open up. And I studied so hard in my high school years. I got a bursary then to go to varsity. That is where I actually then started my career, starting to study towards being a chartered accountant.
Okay.
I did my 3 years undergrad, my honors year, and then went straight into work.
Wow. Okay. You say you went to boarding school at 6.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Didn't you feel neglected maybe by your parents? Didn't you I hear you say that's where you gather some independence and stuff, but how did it feel as a 6-year-old?
I think when you're a child, it doesn't ring.
Yeah.
You get there, okay, in the beginning it's so intimidating, it's so overwhelming. It's like, I've never been without my parents. And now when you get into this space, you see other kids and you forget about your parents.
Okay, yeah.
Monday to Friday, you're like, oh, it's happy, we play, we wake up in the morning, we go to school, we come back, we bath, we study, we sleep. It never became a thing of where are my parents? And then would remember our parents when it's Friday, because your parents are supposed to come pick you up. And that's when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to see my mommy, I'm ready to see my daddy. But I think other than that, it never actually rang to me that, wow, this young child is in boarding school. And I'm like, I think I'm grateful that my parents did that to me. I've learned so much from actually being an independent child, having to learn to navigate life by myself. I don't believe I'd probably moved out of home if they didn't take me to boarding school, because I think I was a very clingy child. Yeah. So it helped.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's lovely. So you say you did your BCom accounting, right? What prompted the move?
So I went to Wits. So at Wits they actually don't call it a BCom accounting. BCom accounting is actually a different stream.
Okay.
So I studied Bachelor's of Accounting Sciences.
Oh, okay.
So that's the CA stream, and it's like a structured CA curriculum type of thing. I actually wanted to become a chartered accountant. I knew it when I was in high school.
Okay.
I knew it when I was in grade 7 actually.
Okay.
What actually motivated me to do that was my aunt. So my aunt was doing stuff also in that stream. So I was like, this looks interesting. I like it. I like accounting. And then I was like, oh, let's go into it. And then in my high school years, at some point I became a little confused. I was like, I actually want to be an actuarial scientist.
Wow, okay.
And then I actually applied for the two, actuarial sciences and accounting sciences. Got accepted for both, went into university. Orientation week, we attended for the two different courses, one being actuarial sciences and the other one being accounting. And the accountants sold it best. Shout out to the accountants. They sold it best, and that's when I actually decided, wow, the CA thing looks beautiful. That's why I didn't become an actuarial scientist.
Oh, okay. That's why she didn't become an actuary. Okay.
I studied. It was actually a very It was an edgy type of situation. They say birds will push you off the edge.
Yeah, or on the edge.
No, that one literally pushes you off the edge. Not even kicks you off the edge,
Okay.
It was actually a very tough period for me. I experienced quite a lot during those years.
Okay.
From mental, I didn't have like actual diagnosed mental health issues, but like you could feel it. You can feel like, wow, I'm actually going through the most, you know? But that's basically my little life story. That's how I actually got to where I got to. I started working right after my university, because now I got a bursary. So when you get a bursary, most companies want you to work for them right after you finish school. I worked, finished my articles, qualified, went out into the world, started doing business. And that's basically my whole story told.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, and it actually made it easier that you went through your whole career, or rather education life, getting bursaries, being sponsored. You see, guys, so if you work hard, that's when people recognize you. Just like how they say they headhunt us in the working field, they also headhunt students or pupils. What do you call yourselves?
I think people would just people would just work.
So and you say it was hard. Tell me, what was the hardest thing about it? Like, was it the studying? Was it the people? Was it the university life? Or was it maybe getting into your adulthood?
So for me, I think there was so many aspects of it that just made the whole thing complex. So firstly, transitioning out of high school to university, and the life is a little different. And I mean, I'm used to having like some adult around. Now I have to go live out in the world where there's no like adults to actually guide me and all that stuff. So that was the first thing. And then also the second thing, friendships. And you get there, people are trying to be cool, and I can guarantee you guys, you're gonna get there and find people that are trying to be cool, that are gonna try and lure you into things that, don't even think about it. So
okay.
So that the friendship dynamic also just came through, and I think at some point I was fortunate enough to find ground and know which are my type of people. The other thing was actually the actual content. In high school, people think they're studying very hard, and when you get to university, you are a distinction child, whatever. You passed with your flying colors in high school, and you get to varsity. And it's a whole new ball game educationally. And you're like, but I've never gotten these marks. I've never failed in my life.
And how did you feel about that?
I think it was difficult to take in initially. And now I want to talk to a person who's not a very strong-willed person, who doesn't have an end goal in mind. It's very easy to give up in that type of situation.
What pushed you?
Yes. So for me, I think I just had that zeal to say, I don't want to see myself living the life I grew up living. I mean, I didn't...
Powerful.
So for me, it was a matter of, I want to be able to take care of myself, especially as a lady. As ladies, especially when you see what things look like in the society, people aspire to find themselves rich men, whatever, and there's nothing wrong with it if that is what you desire.
No,
to
everything
be.
is wrong with that because you're a rich man.
No, if that's what you desire to be, go with it. But you must also understand that there are women who want to be independent, women who don't want to bow to the power of a man. And I'm not saying when you get married, don't be submissive, but you need to understand that once you have your own things, a man can only respect you for you, and they can love you for you, and they will not try to put on their power. Like, sometimes men, and it's a natural instinct of men, they like having power, and you can give them that because they're natural power seekers. But if you don't have your own things, or you don't have your own independence, it's easy for a man to go into attack mode and start abusing you, not even physically, but emotionally. But now, if a man understands that you love them for who they are, you're not there for comfort, you're not there for settlement, whatever, they're able to respect you back. And I think for me, that was one thing that kept me going, because I'm like, I know I want a life where I am respected, not because of what I have, but because of the person I am,
because of who you are. Wow.
And the platform for me to do that is for me to actually be a self-sufficient person.
Tell them what a self-sufficient person is.
So basically, for me, what I would define as a sufficient person would be a person that can take care of themselves financially. That's the first thing for me. I mean, they like saying money is not everything, but to some extent, money is power. So being self-sufficient, that's honesty. Being self-sufficient for me is like paramount, like having your financial independence. The other thing is be emotionally self-sufficient. Don't rely on people to make you feel a certain way.
Profound.
Because so many times we rely on somebody to tell you, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you are so smart. And that's the only time you actually feel validated. So for me, self-validation is actually important. Like, I wake up in the morning and be like, girl, you're so beautiful. Girl, you're so smart.
Affirmations.
Like, you can do anything you want to do. And that's basically just how I get through my life. Because I think for me, one thing that has been difficult in my life, and something that has also been something I had to overcome, was I actually was bullied when I was younger, from like a primary school stage. So it was a situation of now me reclaiming my confidence, because I mean, obviously, bullying can kill your self-esteem. And I mean, other things I was bullied for, like, quite stupid, because like, I lost my father when I was very young, and when kids start to, oh, you don't have a father, they bully you about stupid things, or oh my gosh, you look like a little monkey, like stupid things. But then, like, when you grow up, you start realizing, you know what, I am the person that can build the me I want to see.
Okay.
And that is basically what actually also just kept me going. I want to build the me I want to see.
Wow, she stepped into bullying, something that is actually very topical today. And I just want to go a bit deeper into that. How did you feel when everything happened, and how did you overcome the whole situation, and how you felt, and how did you overcome it to become the person you are today? I mean,
so I think at that time, I mean, I didn't understand what was happening. I was quite young. I mean, like, when I went into boarding school, that's when the bullying actually started. It was easy for me to just
6.
Yeah, around about 6, 7. That's when I actually started experiencing bullying. I'd like, as a timid child, I'd literally just instinctively crawl back into my shell. And I just let people walk all over me. I never addressed anything, But when I grew up, I actually realized, you know what? The power that I want to see is within me. And only when I reached that realization was I able to say, wow, I'm my own person. I can do whatever I put my mind into. But I think to a some extent, I actually appreciate the bullying. That's not a good thing to say. Don't appreciate bullying. But one thing I realized the bullying has helped me do is I was so much of a focused child because it was always, my mind was always like, okay, let me keep myself away from everything else and just, you know, push my thing, be my little child in my own corner, isolate myself, you know.
So you haven't gone through counseling?
No, I actually haven't. So, like, the things that have
There
helped
is a
me
powerful mind.
The thing that has helped me a lot is self-affirmation. And I think also a supportive structure, like people that remind you, you are a very smart child, you are a very beautiful girl. You are, like, I've had people that have actually helped me through my journey because I won't say I would have done it by myself. And also, I think also when I got married, I still had my little insecurities. It was a little...
Oh, she's also married. When did you get married? Do you want to tell them?
Very young.
And do you have children?
Yes, I've got one child.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And then a little 3-year-old.
She rushed through her life. Well, I would say that.
But yeah.
I'm joking, just joking.
But yeah, no, I think when I got into marriage also, I still had, like, you know, my little insecurities, my self-esteem issues. And I just like to say shout out to my husband for, like, being that supportive and affirming person. Like, my husband, even when I'm looking like the trashiest of trash, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look so terrible. And he'll be like, you are so gorgeous.
That's the job of a husband. That's his job.
And I'll be like, are you sure? And he's like, and I'm like, look at my little whatever. And I think that's also another thing I went through when I had my child. Because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't look the same anymore.
I have rolls. I'm serving rolls today. I'm serving burger.
You know? And, you know, I had that person who was able to, like, affirm me. And so going back to the point, a good support structure is very important. And I know some people actually have families that are not supportive or that don't got their backs. Find a community of people that can help you do that. And I believe these type of platforms are the platforms that you can reach out to if there's like initiatives where they're doing programs to actually help basically support you as a youth, as a teenager, even I think a person going into like a young adult basically. Use these platforms because the power that actually they can unleash in yourself is actually amazing.
Wow.
Just the structure that you're in or the environment that you actually put yourself in could make a big difference to where you go.
So you've heard that, put yourself in supportive environments. Okay, I've heard you talk about business. Let's talk about these entrepreneurship things because the girl is doing big things. So on top of being a chartered accountant, Vivienne is also an entrepreneur. So we're just gonna hear a little about her business right now. So tell me, what prompted the move? What is the business? About your target market? Because I can see that she does not give me a chance to ask me questions. So I'm just going to ask her all the questions.
Because Vivienne talks.
Because Vivienne talks, which is a beautiful thing. So what prompted the move?
So I think for me, it was more a self-accountability thing. That is one of the biggest reasons I actually went into business. I also needed like a challenge. I needed something. I mean, not to say work is not challenging enough, but you know, sometimes you set goals for yourself and you're like, I've achieved this, then what's next? And I believe business is that thing that just keeps you on your toes. You always have to keep running. For me, also another thing that also prompted me to start a business was the fact that I wanted to build generational wealth, guys. I'm not a person of splurging and having fun right now and finishing all my money. I believe in saving up for the future generations. I want my children not to study because they need to make money. I want my children to have a life where they're literally doing something because they have a passion for it. So that is another reason I went into business. So basically, my business, I'm a management consultant. So we deal with matters like taxation, your accounting issues, advisory, business rescue,
Wow.
Yeah, there's like actually a whole lot of financial services that we provide
Okay,
within the
financial
company.
services. Okay.
Yeah, it's financial and accounting services basically.
The name of your company?
So the name of my company is All Consulting Solutions.
What does
All
All
means easy.
Easy. Easy accounting services. All over accounting services.
So
That is going to be a thought leader, guys.
So yes, all is actually a Tango word.
Yeah.
That's where it was born. I was like, how my concept was born was I want to make life easy for people. And what better word than all over?
Oh wow! Oh wow! Listen to that.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's where the business was born. And I'm actually very thankful for how the people have been able to receive me and my business. And one thing also I've learned in business is people receive you first before they even receive the business. So you are everything.
You are your brand.
You are your brand.
Yeah.
And I think for me also, it has taught me to grow in so many other areas of my life. Like I've never been a person that would like publicly speak, you know. But in this platform, I'm required to talk. I mean, I'm a consultant.
Yeah.
I am required to reach out to people I don't know.
So, all about consulting solutions. Who is your target market? Who are your target markets?
So, basically, my target market are mostly your small and medium-sized enterprises. And I mean, obviously, we don't limit ourselves, yeah. We're going big
Go
in
wild.
future, but I believe that with your small and medium-sized entities, that is where you're able to learn like a business from like end to end, and that is where I basically just need that exposure because at this point, it's more about creating holistic solutions. It's more about engineering things that will help a business succeed. And I mean, with COVID, we've learned that there's so much that a business has like blind spots to that they don't actually see. And that's basically where we identified the gap, COVID, blind spots. Businesses are struggling. If we look at the businesses now, there's like literally a lot of them that are hanging on a string. And us as Olawa want to bring like a solution that will not bulletproof the business, but that
Salvage maybe.
that will help them actually be very. I don't want to call it versatile. I don't even want to call it.
Okay.
You know, we want to teach businesses to adapt to change.
Oh, wow.
We don't want to
You want them to
basically
be fluid.
Yeah, we don't want to focus on the conventional accounting, tax services, whatever.
Amazing.
We want to become more an advisory
Amazing.
service, you know, and like with one of our services being process engineering, what we're trying to bring to the companies is help them build digital systems. We want to focus on financial technology, making sure that the business is set for the moving trends for the future. And that is one thing we've realized small and medium-sized entities neglect a lot. And you can see these powerful entities are implementing such technologies. And now you fall behind. And for you to catch up in the future, you have to do a lot of capital spend. But we're trying to save you from doing that right now. So yeah, that is basically what we are dealing with in terms of target market right now. And because of our passion for the community, we actually also do some work with your very small businesses, like your vendors, you know. But those are just more like support type of programs, just to see how we can nurture and grow your business as a vendor.
That's actually a beautiful concept. How old is Oliver?
Oliver is not even a year old. Oliver is turning 1 this year, July.
Okay.
And I am actually very grateful at the growth rate that Oliver is actually experiencing. I think also because we want to give people what they need. That is maybe why we are actually
give people what they want.
So I think at that people actually realize, okay, this is the business we want to affiliate ourselves with. And that is how I think we've been able to grow. And another thing, growth, you can't be shy when you go into business. You talk to people, you approach people you don't know. And you need to have a very strong character in the sense that you are going to experience so many rejections from like people you thought are
Tough skin. You
need tough, like real tough skin. Because sometimes it's people you thought are very receptive to helping other people, but I can tell you, the business world is something that
dog eat dog
world. And in that it's also so difficult considering the environment we actually operate in South Africa, corruption and all that stuff. So you need to have very strong ethical values. And I think it makes it so difficult, but I am just thankful that based on what we do, the people that we've serviced, they've been able to see value in the services that we bring to them, and that I believe is what has helped grow the company.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's actually inspirational. Wow. Oh, do you hire people? How many do you hire?
So currently, we don't actually hire permanent staff. So we work on a consultant basis. So, one thing I actually missed or didn't mention was the fact that how we also work in our business is we partner with other businesses, mostly in the same industry, and we share work. You know.
Okay, so that's your business model.
Yes.
Okay.
So we share work. We share capacity, and in that we find generally people that are unemployed, and that's how we give back to the community. We find people that are unemployed, that have experience, that have lost their jobs, and I think right now during COVID, that has been more of a need than ever. We find these people, we put them on as consultants on a project-to-project basis. And basically the reason we actually decided to follow that model and not employ people on a permanent basis is we want to basically give an opportunity to a lot of people that are unemployed to actually bring in some sort of income in their homes. That is actually the model we actually follow. I believe that also in that way, we're not only focusing the income to one particular household, and we are bridging. I know, like in terms of your career, when you look for a job, whatever, they look at your CV, they look at this career gap, and they're like, "What the hell has happened here?" You know, and
what were you busy with?
Yeah, most companies are reluctant to actually bring you on because of that gap in your employment history, and that is also another thing that we want to come in and bridge as all of our consulting solutions. We basically source the people to our partners as well, where they can also get opportunities. Sometimes we find that the partners do end up hiring people full-time. So if that happens to you, great. But we also just trying to teach you to become a business person in yourself. So that you don't rely on finding the next employment, but focus on finding the next opportunity.
Wow. Wow. Very motivational. Well, I'm just going to go back a little bit. I'm very interested in your story. Do you have a mentor or a coach? I'm just offering pin here.
So, I actually recently found a mentor, but I didn't have a mentor for the longest of times. I only found a mentor recently when I went into business.
Interesting.
But I think throughout the years, it was just a matter of because I didn't understand how I reach out to people to actually say, hey, can you be my mentor and all that stuff. But only at this point did I start understanding how to actually communicate with people, identify the right mentor for me. Because, I mean, also finding a mentor is not just finding a person who's successful. You have to find a person that is aligned also to your vision and your values and your purpose. So
you can relate to.
And a person that you can relate to as well.
So how did you find one?
It's very funny. People ignore LinkedIn. I actually just reached out to a lady on LinkedIn. I saw she's actually a
Philanthropist.
Yeah, that word.
Philanthropist.
Yeah, that's a tough word for me to say, but she's a person for the people. Okay.
A philanthropist.
Yeah, a philanthropist.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a person for the people. So I saw her profile, I read, I researched her on Facebook, and I was like, this person actually seems to be a real person for the people. I reached out to her, I actually had a little conversation with her, and I figured, okay, I like this person. I can actually see myself listening to her. Because I don't just listen to anyone. That's not So
I understand.
So I was like, I see myself listening to this person.
Okay.
And that's how I actually found my mentor. And I think that was actually a good relationship that I've built also with her, because she's so motivational. She also helps me think a little bit more. Sometimes you're expecting a mentor to spoon feed you, but she literally makes me sit there and crack my brains. And I think that's one thing I enjoy about her. With a mentor, you need to understand that the relationship is not about somebody spoon feeding you or giving you all the tools to get to where you are. It's about somebody empowering you. It's about somebody facilitating where you're going, and somebody allowing you to stand by yourself, so that in future, when they're no longer there, you're able to stand.
Wow, that's actually very interesting. Do you think you have competition, and how do you plan on being the thought leader? Meaning, how do you plan to get your brand out there? That when I think of a consulting company that does management consulting, I think of Oloba.
So in our industry, there's a lot of competition. There's fierce competition. Remember now, already we have big brands, big four firms, or those literally giants in the industry.
Oh, so is it the same concept?
So it's not necessarily the same concept, but remember, these big companies do the same service offering as well.
Oh, because I would think it's the same concept, but you young, or you do the babies.
Yeah.
They do the adults.
Yeah, but remember, they have the market. Even the medium-sized entities, they have that market.
Okay.
So the competition is quite fierce, and there are so many other management consulting companies.
Okay.
If you search, you
It's
can find
getting more interesting.
Yeah. So basically, with us, we just focus on making sure that our service offering is tailored to the business needs. And another thing that we actually pride ourselves in is integrity. So we don't like doing weird Dutch things. We want to make sure that in the future your business is sustainable. And we also pride ourselves in making sure that also as we empower your business, it also goes on to empower the community. And I believe that for those people that understand that it's not just about the bottom line, it's about the people. It's about where also we're coming from. It's about bringing the people with you. They'll then understand that with Oloba, we are about that, and that's how we become the market leader in what we do.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay, but do you aspire to be the giant?
I think we don't limit ourselves.
Okay.
We basically just want to grow from the beginning, humble beginnings, and make sure that we understand the market well.
Amazing.
Before we go in and go for the big giants.
Okay. Wow, that's really, really amazing. So you say you are for the people, and your business is not about the bottom line, but also about the society, right? So how do you give back to the community?
So basically with Oloba, we've just started out on this initiative. We call it the Community Empowerment Initiative. So with this initiative, we plan to partner with schools, we plan to partner with any youth initiative where we want to provide mentorship opportunities. We want to provide tutoring, and on a pro bono basis, by the way.
Wow, okay. You're not going to pay anything. That's what pro bono is.
Yes, free of charge.
Yeah.
We want to basically bring in people, because obviously when you go into business, you meet a whole lot of people who are connected. So we want to bring in those people to make people understand that there are so many opportunities, there's so many possibilities out there. We also just want people to change their mindset in terms of what success is. Because when people look at success, they see money. yeah, to some extent, money is success, but there are so many aspects, and we want to also just get people to see or know how they can access the opportunities, because from a township community, most times people don't even know where to go, where to start. So we want to bring the information to the people. Basically just make it easier, because I mean, for some of us it wasn't like, okay, here we are, we know what we need to do. It was just like a touch and go, figuring it out. I mean, we're fortunate to be where we are today, but I believe that if we can nurture and change mindsets, change the narrative, change the behavioral patterns within our youth, we are able to basically impact change, grow the township economy. I'm actually quite passionate about the township economy. Many a times we make it, we come out of the township, we forget about our people. And for me, that is not something I want to do. I want to go back, reach out to my people, and see how many of us as possible can come and have a better life.
Like start with the mind.
Start with the mind, behavioral patterns.
Yeah, start with the mind.
Yeah.
Wow. So you spoke about so many things. So you're a girl from township, boarding school at 6, independent at a very young age, bullied, overcame it. Wow, to this blossomed superpower. Like, what do you tell your 12-year-old self?
I tell my 12-year-old self that, you know what, people don't define you. In as much as it is difficult to take it in, know what you want, plan towards it, implement your plan, and shine.
And shine. Execution is what's important.
Implement your plan and shine. Anything is possible.
So I think you mentioned, actually I was going to ask her about the 3 things that she can tell the youth now that are the ingredients to her success.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that is very important, understand your purpose.
Okay.
That for me is paramount and is the foundation of it all. Once you understand your purpose, then that's the only time you can start planning towards achieving what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's no point in having a plan where there's no purpose.
Okay, I'm in grade 10. I'm like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a journalist. How do I find my purpose? How do I know?
Okay, for me, why do you want to be a doctor? That's the first question.
Yeah. So understanding the why.
Understand the why.
Yeah.
Because when it gets tough and you don't know the why, it's very easy to give up. Because I won't say now things are like hunky-dory or smooth. Things are difficult. There are bumpy rides that are actually obstacles of mountains that I have to climb up almost every single day. But what keeps me alive, what sparks me is, why am I doing this?
Understand the why.
Understand the why.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
So there was understand the purpose, which is the why, and then as for 3 ingredients to success.
Okay.
Your success.
For me, I was understanding my purpose. The next thing was draft a plan. And when I drafted a plan, I made sure that I break it down in achievable goals. Because you know, sometimes you have this big thing and it overwhelms you, you don't even achieve it. Break it down into achievable goals. The next thing is implement. And then one thing, I know she said 3, I'm going to go on to the 4th one.
Okay.
Celebrate every single milestone you achieve.
Yeah.
Don't just work on the next goal without actually appreciating what you've achieved so far.
Yeah, okay. Since we're talking to the youth, and I'm quickly going to ask this, small goals, how do I plan that? Like you said, I must draft a plan, and how do I know this is a goal? Like, I passed matric, whoa, that's a goal. Okay, I got my degree, whoa, that's a goal. Is it what you mean?
Okay, so you see, those are goals, but those are big goals. You know, those are not broken down.
Exactly. So, that's why I wanted to ask. Yeah. What is like a small milestone?
So let's say, I'm going to give an example. I want to be a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, you know, you want to be a chartered accountant. What's the first thing that needs to happen? You need to pass matric. There are like a few things that you might want to think of. Do I need a bursary? is there a support structure? Am I going to go to res, whatever? Like, those are the small details of actually you getting to the goal. Once you pass your matric, you need to know, okay, when I get to university, my type of friends, what type of friends do I now associate myself with? What is it, or like you need to plan on a study methodology or a strategy that you actually want to follow to actually study. Always work around something that will make you achieve what you want to achieve, and make sure also you're very versatile because things change. So you must be able to adapt to the new changes. Don't make your plan very rigid. And that's why you need to make small broken down goals so that when there's a change that needs to happen, you're able to implement that change at that point in time.
Very, very profound. Wow. Thank you so much. I don't know if I have any other question I want to ask you because you've given me everything actually. Wow, you've all heard from Vivienne. That's her story, a beautiful story. Well, I say she's blossomed, but I think she's still blossoming. And all I'm gonna say is all the best in everything that you're gonna do. And wow, I know you said the sky is the limit. Congratulations again on everything that you've achieved. You know what? I think overcoming bullying, since like she mentioned, it's very topical. Currently, I think that is something that is going to, wow, I'm sorry, you're blossoming. Thank you so much actually for talking to us. We have Visible Change TV. We do filming and photography. The details are down below. You can contact us any day. Thank you so much.